Up to this 5th round, Sasaki has been a fucking punching bag, but I'm gonna show you how Norman set up this beautiful knockout. Because there really is some signs behind this shit. He goes with a jab and a right hook to the body. Sasaki backs up. Sasaki goes for a jab to the body, right? So any strikes Sasaki has been throwing has been almost like mimicking Norman's. So with that in mind, Norman is going for almost the same type of combo, jab high, body shot, and then he goes jab to the body. So inviting Sasaki to mimic him and throw the same type of punch. Sasaki does the same thing, and bro, Brian already knows. He has this hook loaded up. He knew already that he was gonna throw the same type of punch. Brian Norman has the skills, the aggression, the power to beat Haney, but he also has some flaws. So I'm going to show you guys what I've seen so far from Brian Norman and pick a winner at the end. In the comments, let me know who you think is going to win before I start breaking it down. The first thing you see when watching Brian Norman Jr. is definitely the power, but also the speed too. And 147 holding a lot of weight too. Oh, bro. Dude, the power is insane. So it's definitely going to be different for someone like Devin Haney. First time fighting at 147. This guy has crazy power at 147. He likes a lot of hooks and a lot of inside fighting. I would say that's his game, and he's definitely not afraid to get into a brawl or a tit for tat. He has confidence in his power. Like he's comfortable with being in this type of range and just going at it on some Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway type shit. He's willing to take some punches, willing to take punishment, just very fast, bro. Like you see the speed. Look how he got this 5-punch combo off. Like you see the speed in the power punches, and that's always good to see. He's always throwing with bad intentions. I would say though, definitely a bad thing when you are throwing a lot of hooks, because you can get wild like this. And I would say the best thing for Devin Haney, which I'll explain later in the video, is to throw straight shots. Straight shot is always going to travel faster than a hook like this. So you can counter with that, but this aggression and this pressure is crazy to deal with. And again, Brian Norman he's not going out, I wouldn't say he's going out, swinging wildly, with not thinking about combos. He's definitely thinking about the combos he's throwing, and he has some nice combos as he doubles up on a hook and throws a jab. Like, he's definitely a smart fighter. Definitely thinks about what he's throwing. I feel like he could sustain a dog fight or a fight with a lot of pressure. Let's say Devin Haney sits on his shots, or just anyone else sitting on their shots. He wouldn't be the one, running back or keep a distance. He would be the one sitting on the shots as well and being in that pocket with you. He's definitely not afraid to sit there in that phone booth. He goes to the body a lot. He's not only focusing on the head, he does throw a lot of body shots, so he's mixing it up high and low. And as you've seen from the knockout in the beginning, he did that as well. So definitely some IQ going into it. So definitely some IQ in Brian Norman's side. Maybe the way he fights might make you think differently, just because it looks a little wild and it looks like he's trying to brawl. But he's definitely thinking about a game plan, definitely going in there with a game plan and trying to oppose his game, which most of the time in most of these fights he does. His footwork is great as well. As you see here, both in a Philly shell stance, throws a jab out of range. You see he kind of overextends on this jab. Like this guy, you'll see it right here. He kind of overextends, back foot kind of goes up, and so he comes with a 1, 2, 1. And then leaps into the combo. Like you love to see that. You're closing so much distance and you're coming explosive as well. See there, he's leaping as well with the hook. He can cover distance for sure. One thing I do question though, and maybe because I haven't seen it in his past recent fights, from like his 5 fights, usually all his opponents like to sit in the pocket with him. For some reason, all his opponents like to sit in the pocket with him. I don't know why, but I haven't seen a fight where there was an opponent running, or not running, but like circling around the ring and he's cutting off the ring. And that's a big question mark for me, because I know with Devin Haney, which we'll get into later on, is going to be on the back foot. So it worries me if Norman has the footwork to cut off the ring. Now, I do see shades of good footwork. He has good angles, and he can switch stance sometimes into combos, which is nice to see. But because he's throwing wide shots, it worries me. You know, it worries me if he could really cover that distance. And yeah, the leaping shots is great as well, but at a point, cutting off the ring is way more valuable and way more better, especially fighting someone like Devin Haney. That's just my opinion. So I definitely want to see how he cuts off the ring. Every one of his opponents fight in this telephone booth for some reason, and so it's going to be interesting definitely seeing someone fight on the back foot this time, and he's going to have to oppose his game and kind of bring it to Devin Haney. I think he can do it because I see the shades of good footwork where he's switching stances and he's bringing in angles, but cutting off the ring is different. So definitely I want to see that in his repertoire. All right, now time for the flaws really quick. Norman, I wouldn't say he has too much flaws, but definitely some noticeable flaws. So I would say, like I said, throwing a lot of hooks. He sets it up with the jab sometimes, but not a whole lot. I would like to see the jab thrown from Brian Norman a lot more this fight with Devin Haney. Because if it isn't, I see problems with him coming in with the wide shots. Straight shots down the middle, like I said, are faster. We actually seen it with shades of Terrence Crawford and Canelo, where Canelo was throwing wide hooks and Crawford was just sticking to the 1-2, the jab and the straight, the jab and the cross. So I think a game plan like that, I think that's something that he could get hit by, the straight shots a lot. Because like I said, he's an explosive fighter, throws a lot of power shots. And power shots, evidently, they leave you open a lot. You want to set up a lot of things with straight shots, and you want to be mostly unpredictable. And I'm not saying Norman is predictable, but you know he's going to throw the power shots. So you kind of know it's not that he's not sneaking the setup as like he's not like a Lamont Roach. He's not like a Lamont Roach to where he's really setting up his shots, setting up his power shots behind the jab. Maybe he'll throw a double jab out there and then throw a power shot right after. It's more of, a hook and then another hook. Maybe a jab here and then another hook and an overhand. A lot of power shots. And he could fight like that because, again, he likes to fight in that brawl type of telephone booth pocket. But with Devin Haney, I know he's going to be on the bike. And that's when we could get to Devin Haney. Real quick, I do want to talk about Norman's footwork, though. It is good. Like I said, it is good switch stance. But a lot of times, he could be flat-footed. I wouldn't say he's on his toes like most boxers. He'll have a bounce like we're watching right here. But a lot of times when he's sitting on the shots, he's flat-footed. And, again, with Devin Haney, which I'm about to get into, being on the bike, I'm worried. But the only thing I'm worried about is Norman's footwork. That's the only thing I'm worried about, which I think over time, maybe if I watch more film, I won't be worried. Because it's something that should be very simple for Norman, especially because he has the presence and like dangerous aura or of the power. And Devin Haney's going to be wary of that. So I think there's going to be respect there to where Norman might not need to throw a lot of strikes to come in, but he needs to have the footwork to at least come in, cut the ring off, and find those leaping shots to where he's inside the pocket. And I think if he could do that, I think he could knock out Devin Haney. I would say there's a lot of ways to win. He could be patient, or he could come out with pressure. His number one flaw to me is pressure fighters. I think he can't handle the pressure. And honestly, seeing his last performance, I don't think he could handle the pressure in the spotlight. As in, like, this is a big fight for him. Norman Jr. is not something to play with. This is not a layup. This is not Jose Ramirez. This is Norman Jr. A lot of power, a lot of speed. I think if we see another Jose Ramirez performance, which we saw, the KO obviously affected his head. We saw a lot of tentative striking, a lot of running on the bicycle, and not really throwing a lot of volume. So if we see that again, it's going to be a bad night for Devin Haney. I want to see Devin Haney sit on some of his shots, but also be on the back foot. Now, he's not great on the back foot, but And it's funny because Devin Haney is better when he's sitting there in the pocket with you. We saw that with Loma, where he wasn't really backing up too much. He was sitting there in the pocket with Loma and digging to the body on some of the occasions. But if he fights like that with Brian Norman, he's getting knocked out. And it sucks because Devin Haney fights better like that, but he can't take that risk with Brian Norman in the pocket. He just can't. He doesn't have the defense to. Brian Norman is eventually going to land. Whether Devin Haney is outboxing him in the pocket for 4 rounds, 5 rounds, he's eventually going to land 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, to where he's going to gain that respect and he's going to start backing Devin Haney up. Devin Haney's going to have to fight on the back foot this fight, throw a lot of straight shots, and be very, very smart, be very defensive. I'm not saying, run on the bike, but he's going to have to run, bro. He's going to have to run, like almost Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao type fight. He needs to fight like that. I don't think he has the defense, and honestly, if Brian Norman, like I said, brings that footwork and pressure, bro, it might be wraps, bro. It might be wraps. I don't see it. And if I had to pick somebody, matter of fact, I am gonna pick somebody. It's Brian Norman, 8th round knockout. I'm gonna say 5 out of 5.5 confidence. 5. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5.5. 5.5 out of 10. That it happens. Devin Haney could win by being on the bike a lot and win like a close decision, maybe. But I think the visuals might look good on Norman if he's bringing the fight to him. And if I don't know, man. I just don't see Devin Haney winning. I don't see Devin Haney winning unless he's on the bike. But he doesn't fight best like that. Like I said, he fights better in the pocket. So if he's gonna take that risk in the pocket, maybe he could hurt Brian Norman Jr. at 147. But I'm scared about his defense fighting in the pocket, and on the back foot, I'm scared if he can't handle the pressure. So I think Brian Norman takes it. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you want me to make any other breakdowns, let me know. Peace.